My name is David Taylor. You can call me Dave. I'm one of the application consultants and the innovation development strategist here at Synergis. I've been working on some cool products and some integrations for Vault. So that's what I'll be showing you today is really the integrations that you can make your life easier when you're working with Vault. It's all customizations that work either through the job processor or through the client side of things. We'll go over, hit on a couple just brief things, and then we won't get into too many details about other products, but we'll show you what we have to deliver to you today. Alrighty, so let's get started. Welcome to Vault. Vault can do cool things too. First thing we're going to talk about is what is coolOrange. So coolOrange is a couple different products that they have available. The ones we're going to talk about today are powerEvents, the powerJobs processor, and powerVault. They offer other applications as well, like powerPLM, powerGate, and a couple more different things. But we're going to talk about these main things today. So the first one is powerEvents. And powerEvents, what this does is it runs on the client side for files, items, folders, change orders, any custom objects. So if you think about it, it's really what the user is doing on the Vault client. So for example, if they're doing a state change on a file, we can run a trigger with that event and create some customization by inputting properties or whatever else on the client side of things. So we can do restrictions as well. And then we have got the powerJobs processor. And the powerJobs processor runs as like a layer on top of the job processor in the background of the job processor. And what you'll see there is the powerJobs processor running. You'll see the job processor dialog within that. And with the powerJobs processor, we can trigger custom scripts, custom actions on a job that's pushed through to the job queue. So if a user does a state change on a file within Vault, we can run a custom job, push to the job queue that will do all sorts of automation, whatever pretty much you want to script and add in there. And then we've got powerVault, and powerVault is really the connector for these powerEvents and powerJobs processor applications. And then what that does is it connects to the Vault API. So it's running the powerVault transactions in the background and connecting to that Vault API to be able to do the Vault tasks. So the first one we'll go over is powerEvents. So powerEvents, like I said, it's client-side productivity. It runs as a Windows PowerShell script, which is a PS1 file and a PowerShell module. So you can have modules and that for multiple scripts. You can have multiple scripts that pick up those modules. And it uses the powerVault to connect to that Vault API, like I said before. The tasks will run on the user side licensing. So if you have a, so if you're running it through Vault, it's going to need a Vault license. And then my last bullet point there too, you're going to also need a powerEvents license as well. So each client will have to have your licensing for your product, so which is Vault, and also the license for the powerEvents on each one. With powerEvents, we can also deliver pop-ups. We can also deliver user interactions in the scripts. So if a user is changing a state of a file, we can deliver a pop-up to them saying, "Do you sure you want to do this?" Or maybe there's a property that needs to be filled out. We can pop up a field that they have to fill out and then put that into the property. And these powerEvents runs on the Vault trigger. So any lifecycle state change, if there's a change order state change, if you download the file, if you're uploading files, we can run these powerEvents scripts on any of those triggers. And with powerEvents too, we can download files down to your local machine. We can upload files to Vault and pretty much do whatever you need to do for those scripts. So really, what have we done already for some examples, some solutions for our customers? So we've added custom properties to items and files on a state change. So that first bullet point saying including usernames, meaning if we change a state from work in progress to review, we can actually pick up the username from the user that's logged in, and then input that directly to the property for like a drafter or designer in the property. And we can also pick up dates and put those in the properties as well. We can copy properties from other files and put them in there, copy properties from folders and put them in there. Pretty much anything you can think of for that. We've also added some a solution called Four Eyes checks and restrictions. So that means that it will check usernames on the properties, so that you have to have a minimum of 2 different people taking a look at the files before it can be pushed through the release. We've also done modifying access control lists, so we can set access and expirations and timeouts on files, and we're going to show an example of that. We've also done automatic lifecycle state changes of folders and child files underneath a particular folder. So that means if all the files are in a particular folder are changed to release, maybe it picks all those up, and we've actually released the folder as well, and the child files underneath that. We've also done item lifecycle state transitions that change file states. So if you're working with a item-based workflow and you have an item that transitions from review to work in progress, we can also change all of the file states from that review to work in progress as well. So we can pick up the items, what's linked to those items, and then change all of the states of those child files. We've done pop-ups asking users for file namings, acceptance of transitions, and a lot more of that too. We've also done custom email templates on state changes. So when you release a file, we can pop up an email template that includes not only the information about the file that you're transitioning, but we can send it to, we can add custom to and carbon copy address groups. We can add the attachments of the files. We can also add the direct file to the email. We can take the properties and put them in the email as well. And we can also generate thick and thin client Vault URLs in that email too. So if somebody gets the email, if you're sending it to somebody, they can just click on that link and it'll take them to that location. We've done a lot more too, but this is some of the main bullet points that we've done. So a few of these, we're going to show some demonstrations of those. So the first one we're going to show is a custom properties demonstration. So what this is going to do is it's going to show you how when we transition a file, it adds some properties into the properties on the property pane on the right hand side. And then I'm going to transition it back to work in progress, and we can actually remove properties. So if the properties need to be blanked out, they can be done that way too as well with powerEvents. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Let's make this here. So you can see I have my file there, and you can see on the right hand side I've got my property pane. And there's nothing for rev approved by, approved date and type tag. And I'm changing it to review right now. And you can see it's automatically pulled in with the login name, the date, and also put in a type tag for that number there. Now I'm moving it back to work in progress. And when I move back to work in progress, it will blank out those properties. So you can see the properties have been blanked out, so we can start again at that work in progress in case the information needs a change when you push it through again. Okay. Okay, we're going to show another demonstration of our email template. So with this, it's going to I'm going to release a file, and it's going to pop up an email template with the properties of the file, custom to and carbon copy addresses. It's also going to create the links for us for the Vault thick and thin client, and it's going to attach the file as well. So let's take a look. So at review, I'm going to change it to release state now. When I hit OK, you can see an email template pops up. It has a PDF of the file. It's got thick and thin client URLs on there. That way we can send that out. We can also pull in properties of that, and there's our URLs that we can click on, and will directly take us to the locations of the file. That one's the thick client URL. This is the thin client URL here we can click on. and it takes us to the thin client location as well, directly from the email. Now you can see it's added the PDF in there, so when you send this through, it includes a PDF that got created from Vault, and you can add some extra comments in here before you send it out. Push the send button. You can see that there's custom to and custom carbon copy, and we can set those up with either a custom list that you have, or we can set them up that it goes to the same people all the time. However you'd want it to be set, we can do that as well. With the subject there, we can also pull in any type of subject and anything that you want in the email body. So just really, these demonstrations are really hopefully to get your brain working a little bit and to learn or to kind of think about what you could do with these objects. I might not show everything, but at least we'll get the juices flowing in there to be able to think about what you can do with these powerEvents and powerJobs. Okay. Next one, so that was powerEvents. So powerEvents, like I said, was all client side. The powerJobs is for the job processor productivity. And just like powerEvents, these run as PowerShell scripts, as the PS1 files, and also PSM1 files, which are PowerShell modules. So they're very similar, and you can take a script from powerEvents and move it to powerJobs and kind of modify a few different things and get it working for powerJobs. So if you find that you are using powerEvents, you can take those scripts and with some slight modification, you can make them a powerJobs job, or vice versa. You can take a powerJobs script and move it back to powerEvents if you find that you need it on the powerEvent side. It also uses the powerVault to connect to the Vault API. It can use, now with these powerJobs, we can use Inventor Server and we can use TrueView. So we can be run with those APIs so that you don't need a Inventor license or an AutoCAD license on the job processor. And that's the great thing about the job processor, that we could run through those different types of APIs to be able to not needing those licenses. But you'll need, for certain tasks, if it needs a full Inventor or AutoCAD application to run those tasks, there are certain scripts that need that for, if it's like a full export of some weird file type, we might need to get a full Inventor license for that. You will have to have the Inventor and AutoCAD licensing on the job processor. Now, same thing with the job processor jobs that are going through like a normal Vault job, there is no user interaction because it is running in the background on another computer or through that job processor. So there is no user interaction. So that's another big one. That's the difference between powerEvents and powerJobs. We can also trigger these jobs with something called coolOrange Queue Jobs, and Queue Jobs is like a right-click menu in Vault. And in one of these demonstrations, I'll show you there is a Queue Jobs that's in there, and that's just a right-click on a file that allows you to trigger a custom job, or trigger one of the jobs that we create. Also with these powerJobs, they run as custom jobs in the job queue, so you will see them in the job queue that will run. You will get the log information as well on the job processor as it's running through. And this is really good for tasks that are done in the background, or if exporting or doing these tasks maybe take longer times to complete. You'll want to use powerJobs instead of the client side, because if you're doing it in the powerEvents on the client side, you're going to be the user's going to be sitting there for a few minutes till it goes through everything. So if you think about what you need to do, maybe powerJobs is the way of going if it's going to take a longer time. And then we can also download files, upload files, modify files after we download them, save them, put them back in the Vault. Whatever we need to do, we can do that with the powerJobs as well. We can also do cron jobs, and cron jobs means that we can run a specific task at certain intervals. So if it's a task that is, for example, on one of my demonstrations here, I'm going to create a user list of all the users that add a vault. We can run that at a specific time every day, or we can run that at a specific time, like maybe every 6 hours or every 12 hours in the job process, so that it does runs in the background, does everything it needs, spits it back in the vault for you. And with the powerJobs licensing, it is licensing per job processor. So even though the licensing might cost a little bit more than the powerEvents side of things, the job processor license, if you think about it, is one license for like really everybody that's putting their jobs through the powerJobs processor. Okay, and some of the things that we've done for our customers, just to get some ideas going here, is we've done some custom PDF plotting, exporting. So that means custom sizes. We've done PDF plotting if you have a property called, if you need color print property in your file that maybe is set to true, we would set it to, set the print to color. If it's set to false, we would set the print to black and white. We've also taken those PDFs and we've archived those to network paths already. I know in Vault that there is a solution, or there is already a option to copy those files to a network path, but with the custom coolOrange scripts, we can look and see if the file already exists on the network path, and then take that file and put it in an archive folder, or we can do whatever you need to do with it so that you have those multiple versions for you. We've also done custom DXF exporting. So we've taken for sheet metal, if there's a sheet metal flat pattern, we've taken that and we can export that as DXF and put that back into Vault right with the file, or place it wherever you want to. We've also done Microsoft Office plotting and exporting. So we've exported CSV files from a bunch of files that you select in Vault. We've exported that to a CSV with all the properties in the CSV, so you can take that and put it into another application or use it how you wish. We've also plotted PDFs of Office documents like Excel and Word and pretty much anything you can think of. We've also done augmented reality exporting of Inventor files. So that means IPTs, IAMs, we can export those to an AR file that can be placed back in the Vault, but then you can use the Vault mobile application to open those up and view them on your mobile device to view those in an augmented reality setting. And I'm going to show a demonstration of that as well. We've also done iLogic scripts that run on selected files. So that means that we've taken the iLogic scripts and we've placed them in and we've created this custom powerJobs script that will take the file that you select, that you transition to a certain state in Vault. It takes that file, it copies it down, it runs the iLogic on those files, saves it, and puts it back in the Vault. And we've done that for a few customers already. And then we've done exporting a few full user access lists. So that means we've taken a job and we've said, hey, grab all the users, all the groups that are in Vault, export those out to Excel sheet with all the roles, permissions, when they were created, anything else good information wise on those user lists. And that I'm going to show a demonstration of that as well. We've also done the removal and modifying a custom access control list. So since we are using the Vault APIs, we can change how users are on particular files or folders. We can change who has access to those files or folders with our scripts. So if you think about it, that might open up some more possibilities for you that maybe at a certain time down in the future. So I have this file open for a vendor and it's accessible by them. So maybe in the future, the cron job runs and it removes that user from that file, so they have no longer have access to it after like 10 or 20 days or 30 days. We've also ran the files through custom Windows command line tools. So we've created OCR. So we take an OCR, we run it through that. So the optical recognition, so that we can read text from images or we can actually trim our PDFs or our documents with using OCR. We can do image editing. So pretty much any other application that has a Windows command line, we can send the files through those command line tools and then save them and then spit them back into Vault. And we've done a lot more too. But like I said, with the other one, this is just some of the main bullet points we have. So this one, we're going to look at the Vault Access user list. And what this is going to do is going to run a job that's taking all of the users and the groups out and grabbing the roles permissions on those and when they're created and everything, and putting them in an Excel sheet for us to have. And actually, this script will save that out from Vault, and it will put it back into Vault in a particular location for us to view. And like I said before too, you can run this on a particular time. So maybe, every night it's running so that you have a full access user list for auditing every day, who has what permissions and who has access. Let's take a look at that. So let me back it up here. So this right-click menu here is our QJobs, like I mentioned before, and this is a right-click menu on our files within Vault, and we can create custom jobs that get pushed to the job processor using the QJobs. So by just selecting the file that I want and right-clicking on it, I can have a custom a button in here that I can push a job for that file through, or a custom job through to the job processor. So you run this Synergis Scout one, and what it's going to do is going to send the job to the job queue. And this job processor here, you can see it's the powerJobs processor that's running a layer on top of the regular job processor. It's going to run this custom job. And once it's done, it's completed now. You can see all the log there, it's completed. It uploads it back into a location in the Vault. I'm going to open it up, and we're going to take a look at the list. I'm not going to check it out there. Let's pull that over, and you can see there's the list of all the users and groups within Vault, when they were created, if they're active, their system accounts, and there's also all of the permissions on each user there as well that we can grab from the Vault. Okay. All right. So that's one example, and then you can see the how powerful powerJobs and powerEvents is by we can do pretty much anything that you can think of in Vault using the Vault APIs. Okay, this next one is the powerJobs demo of the augmented reality export, and this one's going to create a augmented reality file off of a file I select in Vault. It's going to put it back into the Vault. And I'm going to use my Vault mobile app to show that we can open it up and put it in an augmented reality setting. Like, for example, it's on my desk of the file here. So let's take a look at that, just show it off here. All right, so I'm going to take the file. I'm going to right click on it, create the conversion, and it's going to run through this custom job that we have through powerJobs processor. It's going to create that AR file and upload it back into Vault. See, there's our USDZ file now. That's our AR file that we have. What I'm going to do then is open it up in the Autodesk Vault mobile app, and you can see there that is there the USDZ file. I can view it and download it to my device. And it's going to put it in the downloads there, and then I'll open it up from my files, and this is good for iOS and for Android. Android, I think, has to have another application, but iOS is native with that file. So with this, then I'm just opening it up, and it's asking me to place where I want it, and you can see that I've placed the augmented reality file directly on my desk there with the file that was automatically created from the powerJobs into Vault. Pretty cool. Alrighty, let's go to the next one here. So let's put it all together. So I'm going to use powerEvents here, and I'm going to set a custom access with a pop-up window on a particular file. And what's going to happen then is after I set that access, it's going to send a information document with that access and everything to the job processor. And the job processor is going to run on a cron job every so often, and it's going to run and check and see if that user has timed out. So like I said before, for a vendor, if a vendor needs access for like 30 days, we can set a timeout on that, okay, I've given them the access now, and within that 30 days, they have the access. But then when that powerJobs custom job runs, it checks the date. If it's past the 30 days, it will then remove that access from that file. And I think in this particular example, it's in a few minutes that I have it set as the timeout, but we'll take a look at that here. All right, let's go ahead and play that. Okay, so I have that file there. I'm going to right click and I'm going to check the security on it. You can see there's no security on it right now, but I'm going to use, so let's pause that and go back here. So I'm going to use data standard. So we can also trigger jobs and powerEvents scripts through data standard as well. Since data standard is really just a PowerShell add-in into Vault Professional, we can trigger scripts with that. We can do some other different things with data standard as well. So not only do you can use queue jobs when you right click on things, but you can also use data standard to trigger things as well. And I've created this one here in data standard to trigger this script. So once it comes up, you can see here I have now my pop-up window. So this is all on the client side that I can create pop-ups that allows me to select a user group that I want to set a timeout on, and it gives me drop-downs. It will actually pull in all of the users and groups from Vault automatically and put them into this drop-down in here, so I can select the one I want. So I'm going to pick my own username. I'm going to set a timeout date, and this was a little bit ago, but we'll see. We'll change it to another time past what we have currently running as an example. And I'm going to set the permissions on this. So this is very similar to what you'll see the permissions on security tab, or when you go to set permissions for other things. So read, modify, delete, and download access. And I can set that timeout then. Now, when I go to take a look at, we can run it again. We can show the existing timeouts using that button there. We can see that's the information that we have just set on that file, and there's another file in there too as well in this document. It's just the information. We can see the security has been set from the script as well on that file now. So now job processor is going to run at certain intervals. Like I said, the cron job, and it's going to check and make sure, see if there's a timeout. There was no timeout on that because it hasn't passed the time yet. The timeout was 5:04, and here it was 5:03 right before that. So it hasn't timed out yet. So it's going to run again. And here it's going to run again, and it's going to be past the time now. It's let's say 5:05. I know I'm skipping it a little bit here, but still it's 5:05, and now it has removed that access. So if you look at the security now, it has removed that access from there. So we can set it like for a vendor that we have a specific timeout on that. So that's another great thing that we have, that we can access those APIs and pretty much do what we want. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us at marketingsupport@synergis.com, or you can go to our website, synergis.com/CAD. If you want any more information about coolOrange, of course, you can go to their website too. But yeah, really, if you want anything created, or if you want anything built, or if you have any questions, feel free to contact us, reach out to us. We can take a look and listen to what you might need, if there's any solutions that might be possible. Yeah, just feel free to reach out to us.